My husband's family declared, "You'll be hosting every holiday dinner from now on, cooking for 40 people." My husband shrugged and said, "It's just what wives do." I nodded and said, "Of course. But first, let's read this email." He grabbed the paper, and his face went white when he saw my travel plans. I married Mark 10 years ago. At first, his family seemed nice. Big, loud, and very involved in each other's lives, but nice. It didn't take long for me to realize they weren't just close. They were overbearing, demanding, and completely convinced that women existed to cook, clean, and serve. My family is nothing like that. We take turns hosting holidays, help each other with cooking and cleanup, and respect personal boundaries. His family? The second we got married, I was expected to take over all the holiday cooking. It started small. The first year, I hosted Thanksgiving. I cooked everything from scratch: turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, pies, rolls, the whole thing. I thought it was a one-time thing. I was wrong. Christmas rolled around, and they just assumed I'd host. No one asked. No one offered to bring anything. His mom just said, "Let us know what time to come over." That's how it started. That's how it kept going. Every Easter, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, every birthday. 40-plus people, all stuffing their faces while I sweated over the stove. Meanwhile, the men sat around drinking, and the women gossiped in the living room. Mark never helped. If I asked, he'd say, "It's just what wives do." Last Christmas was the last straw. I had spent 2 days cooking. I was exhausted. My feet hurt, my back hurt, and I hadn't even had time to eat all day. I finally sat down with a plate of food when Mark strolled into the kitchen. He smiled like he was about to tell me great news. Mom and the aunts were talking. They decided you're gonna host every holiday from now on. Since, you're the best cook. I just stared at him. "Excuse me?" He shrugged. "It's not a big deal, babe. It's just what wives do." That was it. That was the moment I snapped. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just nodded and said, "Of course." And then, I made a plan. That night, after I cleaned up the kitchen alone while everyone else laughed and drank in the living room, I went online and booked a trip. A 6-month trip. I had been saving money for years. Not for anything specific, just a just-in-case fund. Well, just in case had arrived. I booked flights. I booked hotels. I planned an itinerary that would take me through Europe, South America, and anywhere else I wanted to go. Then, I sent out an email to his family. "Merry Christmas, everyone. Exciting news. I have been offered an incredible opportunity for a 6-month international culinary program starting this spring. I'll be traveling across Europe to study regional cooking techniques. Unfortunately, that means I won't be able to host any holidays this year. But I'm sure one of you will step up. Much love, me." Was it a real program? No. Did I care? Also no. The next morning, Mark was scrolling through his phone when he suddenly sat up straight. "What the hell is this?" I sipped my coffee. "What's what?" "This email. You're going away for 6 months. "Oh, yeah." I smiled. "Didn't I tell you? I got into a culinary program. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." His face went pale. But what about the holidays? What about them? Who's going to cook?" I shrugged. "I don't know. I'm sure someone will figure it out. It's just what families do, right?" He panicked. Within 10 minutes, his mom was calling me, screeching into the phone about how I was abandoning them. His sisters flooded me with texts. "You're ruining the family. Just cancel your trip. You're being selfish. What kind of wife just leaves her husband like this?" And my favorite from his mom, "You need to start acting like a real wife." To which I replied, "Funny, I thought a real wife was supposed to be loved and appreciated, not treated like a free catering service." She didn't like that. Mark spent the next week trying everything. First, he tried sweet-talking me. "Babe, you know I love your cooking. I just don't want to celebrate the holidays without you." Then, he tried guilt. "You're really going to leave me alone for 6 months? What am I supposed to do?" Then, anger. "You're acting like a selfish brat. You're my wife, and you're just abandoning me." Nothing worked. I packed my bags. The night before my flight, he tried one last thing. "If you don't cancel this trip and come home, we're done." I looked him in the eye and said, "Okay." I left the next morning. I turned off my phone. I didn't check my emails. For the first time in a decade, I spent my holidays the way I wanted to. Drinking wine in Italy. Eating fresh pastries in France. Walking on the beaches of Greece. And back home, they were losing their minds. I'll finish this later. For now, I'm going to order another glass of wine and enjoy my freedom. I spent my first few weeks abroad in pure bliss. I drank cappuccinos in Rome, wandered through the lavender fields of Provence, and ate my weight in fresh pastries in Vienna. I kept my phone off, ignored my emails, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. Then, one night, sitting in a small cafe in Barcelona, I turned my phone back on. The first thing that hit me was the flood of notifications. 37 missed calls from Mark. Hundreds of texts from his family. A single, passive-aggressive email from his mom. Hope you had fun ruining Christmas. Curious, I started scrolling through the messages. And that's when I started laughing. It turns out, without me there, the holidays were a complete disaster. Thanksgiving? They tried ordering everything pre-cooked from the grocery store, but someone forgot to pick up the food on time. The store sold it to someone else. They ended up eating microwaved hot dogs for Thanksgiving dinner. Christmas? Mark's sister tried to cook, but she set the oven on fire. The entire kitchen had to be repainted. New Year's? His family assumed Mark would host since I was gone. Mark assumed one of his sisters would do it. No one cooked. They sat around eating potato chips and drinking warm beer. Easter? Take out Chinese food. But the real drama? The family started turning on each other. Without me around to play hostess, peacemaker, and unpaid chef, things fell apart. Mark's mother blamed him. She told him that a real man wouldn't have let his wife abandon her duties. His sisters accused him of being a pathetic husband who couldn't even keep his wife in line. His aunts and uncles were mad because they were used to free gourmet meals every holiday. Now they were stuck eating burnt casseroles and box stuffing. Then, Mark made a huge mistake. He tried to replace me. Somewhere between Christmas and Easter, Mark started dating someone new. Her name was Lisa, and from what I could gather from the very gossipy texts I received from mutual friends, she was a younger version of me. She was a great cook. She was sweet. And, most importantly, she had no idea what she was walking into. Lisa thought she was dating a nice guy from a big, loving family. She had no clue they were just grooming her to be the next unpaid servant. But Lisa? She wasn't as naive as they thought. Easter rolled around, and Lisa tried to be the perfect girlfriend. She cooked an entire holiday meal by herself, just like I used to. She made the mistake of asking for help with dishes. Mark's mom told her, "No, no, dear. That's your job now." Lisa walked out, and Mark chased after her. That's when Lisa snapped. She told him that she wasn't his maid, wasn't his wife, and sure as hell wasn't going to be treated like some unpaid cook. She dumped him on the spot. After Lisa left, Mark lost it. He showed up at my parents' house. He cried. He begged. He said he had made a huge mistake. He said he had taken me for granted. He even promised to help with cooking and cleaning if I came home. But I wasn't home. I was in Greece, drinking wine on a balcony, watching his life fall apart from a distance. He kept sending me texts. "I miss you. Please come back. We can fix this. You were right. I should have helped more. I don't care about the cooking, I just want you back." I ignored them. Then, his tone changed. "You need to come home. Now. I will not let you humiliate me like this. If you don't come home soon, you'll regret it." That's when I knew Mark wasn't sorry. He was just angry that he lost control. I was planning to just ignore him forever. But then, something way more interesting happened. Mark's mom emailed me, and what she said blew my mind. I stared at my screen, rereading the email. At first, I thought it was another guilt trip or another dramatic message about how I'd ruined the family. But it wasn't. It was a warning. "I don't know what's wrong with Mark, but you need to be careful. He's not handling this well. I thought he'd get over it, but he's been saying some unsettling things. You might want to come back before things get worse." For a moment, I just sat there. Mark's mom? Warning me? This was the same woman who had spent years treating me like a kitchen appliance. The same woman who had once told me I was lucky to be in their family. Now she was telling me to be careful? Something wasn't right. I didn't reply. Instead, I reached out to a mutual friend back home, someone who had always been on my side, but stayed quiet to avoid drama. Me, "Hey, have you seen Mark lately?" Friend, "Yeah. Why?" Me, "I got a weird email from his mom. She's acting like he's losing it." Friend, "Oh. Yeah, you could say that." That's when she filled me in on everything I had missed. After Lisa dumped him, Mark completely spiraled. First, he started telling everyone that I was coming back. He told his family, his coworkers, even people at the grocery store. "She just needed time," he'd say. "She'll be home soon." Then, he started making preparations. He cleaned the whole house, which he never did when I lived there. He bought my favorite foods and put them in the fridge. He even bought a plane ticket in my name. Except, I never booked a flight home. Then, it got worse. When people started questioning him, Mark changed his story. "She's not coming back," he started saying. "She's already here." That's when the real creepy stuff started. He began posting online like I was still home. A picture of a homemade dinner with the caption, "She's such a great cook." A blurry photo of an empty chair at a restaurant, tagged with my account, "Date night with my love." Even a picture of my old slippers next to his, with the caption, "Finally complete again." People started noticing. Friends reached out to me, confused. They'd comment on his posts, saying, "Wait, I thought she was still traveling." Mark deleted every comment that questioned him. Then, he blocked people. Then, he went after my family. I was already on edge when my brother called me. "You need to come home," he said. "No, I really don't." "You don't get it," he snapped. Mark came to mom and dad's house. I went cold. "He what?" "He showed up last night. Said he was there to pick you up." I gripped the phone tighter. "What did they say?" "They told him you weren't there." He didn't believe them. "He kept saying you were playing a game and that he knew you were hiding inside." "He didn't," I swallowed. "He didn't try to break in, did he?" My brother hesitated. "Not exactly," he admitted. "But he wouldn't leave. He just stood outside. For 3 hours." I didn't say anything. Eventually, Mom called the police. He left before they got there. But he told her, "She'll come home soon." "She has to." That's when I made a decision. Mark wanted me home? Fine. I'd come home. But not the way he expected. I landed back home in the middle of the night. It had been 6 months since I left. 6 months since I had cooked a meal for that ungrateful family. 6 months since I had carried the weight of being the perfect wife. And now, I was back, but not for Mark. I was back to end this. My brother picked me up from the airport. He was tense, gripping the wheel a little too tightly. "You sure about this?" he asked. "I need to see it for myself," I said. He didn't argue. We pulled up to the house I used to call home. The first thing I noticed? The lights were on. Every single one. The second thing? The front door was unlocked. I exchanged a look with my brother before pushing the door open. The moment I stepped inside, I realized something was very, very wrong. The house looked like I had never left. My coat was hanging by the door. Except I took my coat with me. My favorite mug was sitting on the counter, still filled with coffee. Except I hadn't been here in half a year. The table was set for 2. My plate had food on it. Like I had just stepped away for a moment. Like I had never left at all. That's when I heard footsteps. Mark stood at the top of the stairs, wearing the same sweatshirt he had on the night before I left. His face went pale when he saw me. "You're home," he whispered, eyes wide. I swallowed hard. "Mark, I knew you'd come back," he said, stepping down slowly. "You always do." I took a step back. My brother shifted beside me. "Mark," I said carefully, "what is all this?" He smiled, and it sent a chill down my spine. "I knew you were playing a game," he said. "I figured it out. You wanted me to appreciate you more. That's why you left. That's why you made up that ridiculous cooking program." He laughed. "Smart. Very smart. But it's over now. You're home." My stomach turned. He wasn't joking. He really believed I had just been testing him. I had left for 6 months, and he had convinced himself that it was all part of a lesson. The uneaten food. The fake posts. The waiting. This wasn't a grieving husband. This was delusion. I squared my shoulders. "Mark," I said, "I didn't leave to test you. I left because I was done." His face twitched. "No, I left," I repeated, voice steady, "because I was done cooking for your family. Done cleaning up after you. Done being treated like a damn maid." He flinched like I had hit him. "You're lying," he whispered. "No, Mark," I said, "I left because I don't love you anymore." Silence. For a second, I thought he might finally break down, finally admit the truth. Instead, his face twisted in rage. "You think you can just walk away from our marriage? From this family?" His voice was rising now. "You think you're better than us just because you ran off to drink wine with a bunch of strangers?" "I didn't run off," I shot back. "I walked away from people who treated me like garbage." His hands curled into fists. "You're my wife," he spat. "You swore in front of God." "I filed for divorce," I interrupted. "4 months ago. Check your mail." His breath hitched. And that was it. That was the final straw. Mark lost it. He lunged toward me, screaming. Before he could get close, my brother stepped in. He shoved Mark back, hard. Mark stumbled, hitting the table. The plate, my untouched, imaginary dinner, shattered on the floor. The crash snapped something in him. He slumped against the table, breathing hard. "You did this," he whispered. His voice cracked. "You ruined everything." I stared at him. The pathetic, broken man in front of me. "No," I said quietly. "You did." I turned and walked away. This time, I wasn't just leaving. I was free. I stayed at my parents' house while the divorce finalized. Mark never signed the papers. He tried dragging it out, but it didn't matter. The court granted it anyway. His family? They turned on him. When they realized I was really gone, they blamed him. You should have done more to keep her. She was the only one who knew how to run things. This is your fault. He was outcast from the very family he let walk all over me. A year later, I was sitting in a cafe in Italy, sipping espresso, watching the sun rise over the water. And for the first time in my life, I felt something I had never felt before. Peace. The weight of all those holidays, all those forced smiles, all those nights scrubbing dishes alone gone. I wasn't a wife anymore. I wasn't a servant. I was me. And I had never been happier.